Have you ever been to an out-of-town wedding and thought something big was missing? Here in the Mahoning Valley, when you go to a wedding, you expect a nice big cookie table. In today's cover story, Matt Stone takes a look into the history and tradition of the cookie table and even some suggestions on what makes the perfect cookie table in 2025.
Never mind the Cleveland versus Pittsburgh rivalry. When it comes to the beginnings of the wedding cookie table, it's a Youngstown versus Pittsburgh thing. It started around the turn of the 20th century.
We're seeing it in maybe Italian cultures, Eastern European cultures, but a lot of immigrants coming here to the Valley, and it kind of pops up around Youngstown, around Pittsburgh. Both cities lay their claim to having the first cookie table.
These large immigrant families would get together to celebrate, but they couldn't always afford an extravagant wedding reception, so they helped each other.
You know, it was hard times and they didn't have money for a wedding cake.
Sugar was really expensive to just make one large cake. So instead of having one family pay for that, it was a lot easier to say, have one family bring a couple dozen cookies, another family bring a couple dozen cookies, just kind of spread that cost out a little bit.
Well, over 100 years later, having a cookie table at a local wedding is a must. Usually the bride's family gets everyone to start baking weeks ahead of time. And nowadays, it isn't just good enough to have cookies at the reception. You need enough for people to take home.
Typically, there's the old story of people just pulling the Ziploc bag out of their purse and just grabbing cookies and taking them home. So yeah, I think there's definitely an expectation that you eat at the event and then you take a couple home.
Linda Sproul made a Facebook group in 2010 for people to share their love of tradition and cookies.
It's just taken off. Last time I checked, I think I've got like 45,000 group members or something like that.
On that site, you can share ideas for table setups and, of course, cookie recipes.
It's truly recommended to have like 10 cookies per person, and people have take-home bags and take-out boxes, and it's really got to be quite the production these days.
The must-haves for cookie tables: clothespins and buckeyes. Make sure the cookies are on the smaller side. No one wants a huge one because most people just want a bite or two of a different flavor. And is there anything people should not make?
Personally, I'd say anything with raisins, but I don't think there's a bad cookie. I think there's a cookie for everyone.
Chances are there will be something at the cookie table people will love. That's why this Youngstown tradition will never end.
What do you have to have a perfect cookie table is just a lot of love, a lot of heart for keeping the tradition going.
With today's cover story, I'm Matt Stone.